The world is full of urban legends, remarkable stories that spread like viruses around the planet, mutating and evolving until no one can remember which ones are true and which ones are urban legends. In this episode called Stranger Than Fiction, you'll see 3 stories that will make you wonder which is in fact stranger, fact or fiction. First up, the story of a Peruvian woman who experiences a grisly night of horror. Then a Florida fisherman reels in a whopper of a tale no one can believe. And finally, an all-American football team seriously fumbles rookie night. Watch all 3 stories and decide which urban legends are true and which ones are false. Find out if you guessed right at the end of the show. First, it's a story we like to call Skin Deep. As a young woman living in a small South American village where everyone knows each other, Susana Juarez never imagined anything bad would ever happen to her. Until it did.
No, porque casi nunca pasa nada en el pueblo. Lo más que pasa es que hubo un pleito de borrachos en la cantina o que alguien se robó una manzana, pero nada así muy feo, ¿no?
But even this tight-knit community couldn't protect Susana from the horrors on a fateful night 2 years ago.
Y estaba mareada y con náuseas y solo pensaba en que tenía que escapar. Lo único que podía pensar era, me tengo que salvar.
In the small village of Huanaco, Peru, strangers are few and far between. But in the fall of 2008, everyone notices that there's outsiders hanging around the town.
Parece ser que eran de Brasil. Eran científicos, buscaban como plantas medicinales. Eso. Casi no venían al pueblo, más que a los bares.
When they do come to town, the Brazilians like to throw money around, buying drinks and winning over the locals. One night, Susana's friends decide to cash in on the free drinks, but Susana's reluctant.
Tenía que trabajar al otro día temprano, pero mi amigo Tito me dijo, vamos, vamos.
Susana gives in. She's soon having a good time, hanging out with her friends and the Brazilians.
Compraban más y más cervezas y pues ya sabes que cuando están borrachos ya te haces amigo de todo el mundo.
As the night wears on, Susana and her friends agree to go back to the Brazilians' camp in the jungle for more drinks.
Aparte iba con Tito y con Lorenzo, pues 2 hombres. Yo dije, ay, me van a cuidar si algo pasa. Y ya nos fuimos adentro. Y yo pensé que era el baño. Iba a entrar y me dijeron, no. Como muy alarmados.
The room houses their research plants and is strictly off limits. Susana makes it to the toilet, but when she returns, her night is cut short.
Y ya Lorenzo y Tito ya se habían tomado como 2, creo, o 3. Y yo ya nada más me tomé una porque yo ya no aguantaba más. Y ya es lo último que me acuerdo.
Susana and her friends have been drugged. 2 hours later, she wakes up to a nightmare.
Yo quería gritar de horror, así como porque ver cómo lo mataron fue horrible.
Susana is forced to watch what the men have in store for Tito. Something even more disturbing than murder.
Entonces le pusieron como una flama hacia abajo. Nunca había visto algo así.
Is there a purpose to this bizarre ritual? Susana realizes that she's likely to die as brutally as her friend.
Ellos decían algo así como, ella es la siguiente.
But remarkable luck gives Susana a chance. The men leave the room.
Es que yo que tenía algo filoso. Entonces yo agarré y empecé así como a cortar el mecate, el lazo.
But can she act fast enough? She has no idea where the men have gone or when they'll return.
Entonces traté de despertar a Tito, pero pues no se despertaba.
Susana is faced with a terrible dilemma. Save herself or die trying to help Tito. She chooses life.
Y yo nada más sentía que corría y corría y corría y corría.
At the police station, no one believes her crazy story.
Se veía muy mal, como que había estado tomada, ebria, y por esa razón no le creímos todo el horror que nos contó.
Still doubting Susana, Sergeant Alvarez contacts his boss and relays what she's told him. The reaction is stunning.
Y él dijo que había tenido información de la Interpol, de que en Switzerland habían hecho lo mismo con unas personas.
It's a shocking revelation. The Brazilians have been killing locals and harvesting their body fat for use in beauty products. Highly sought after because of their anti-aging qualities, these illegal cosmetics can fetch thousands on the international black market. Sadly, it's too late to save Tito, and his murderers have disappeared.
Estaba como... Fue una cosa muy fea que se vio. Se fueron del país.
Against the odds, Susana Juarez escaped alive, but with terrible memories that will haunt her forever.
Tengo pesadillas que ay, hubiera hecho esto, pero pues ya no puedo hacer nada.
Beauty comes at a high price, none higher than the lives of Susana's friends. But did this story actually happen, or is it a big fat lie? We'll let you know at the end of the show. But before then, take a look at this mini-myth. Mini-myth number 965. The cow jumped over the moon. On finding her roof seriously damaged, Beryl Jones of Somerset, England, first thought her house had been robbed. But there's no sign of burglars and no explanation, until a neighbor came forward with a bizarre story. He was looking out the window and saw a cow leap 2 meters up in the air and land on the roof. Holy cow. So did this happen? Or will we be claiming next that pigs can fly? It was totally true. It's a little known fact cows can jump 2 meters or higher. Why they would still remains a mystery. On Urban Legends, we show you 3 stories. You have to decide which ones really happened and which ones are merely legends. So far, you've seen the story of Susana Juarez and her narrow escape from becoming an illegal beauty product. But is it true or false? Find out at the end of the show. Now it's time for our next story. It's called A Fish Tale. When Eric Bartos gets too caught up in life, he knows there's one sure release.
I like to think that my worship is while I'm out fishing. I think that's where I find the most peace.
But in January 2005, that peace was shattered when Eric reeled in a mysterious creature from the deep.
I couldn't believe my eyes. If I wasn't there on board, it still gives me chills.
The fishermen would be called liars and cheats. And for one of them, life after this catch would never be the same. This story begins off the coast of Florida. It was 2002, the worst year of Eric Bartos' life.
Remember, Eric, you are the father. Start acting like one.
I've got a divorce pending. I was probably a wreck at the time.
Fishing was Eric's only escape, and there was nothing he liked more than fighting with a sailfish, the fastest fish in the sea. But today, Eric plans to do something with this catch no angler has ever done before.
Eric said, you know, I'm pretty much divorced. I don't want this ring anymore.
Hold it up, guys. I got a great idea. Here we go. Look at this.
It dawned on me it would fit nicely on a tapered bill of a sailfish, so why not release it on a sailfish and, you know, move on with my life?
Say cheese.
You know, this is where his love is. It was more in the water than I guess with his wife at the time.
But Eric's impulsive act will bring new meaning to the saying, what goes around, comes around. 2 years later, and Eric is officially divorced. The strange ceremony with his wedding ring seems to have cursed him.
Always back on time.
Dealing with my ex-wife wasn't the most pleasant experience. It was a very bitter divorce, and my kids, if they see that their parents aren't getting along, then it's going to have some negative impact on them.
At least there's still fishing.
Well, boy, the fish is pretty slow.
But today's trip is turning into a disaster. With nothing biting, they resort to superstition.
And he did his little Costa Rican tradition. Eric actually kissed the fish.
It will be a kiss he never forgets.
I remember a black shadow coming up.
Come on, boys, you got one.
It grabs the lucky bait, but it's putting up one heck of a fight.
As it starts coming up, I started to see a sailfish. Seemed like a normal sailfish until the bill was shining gold. And I said, holy, it's the bleeping ringfish. I couldn't believe it.
What? It's the ringfish!
I was blown away. I didn't even know what to say or do.
And we all looked at each other like, is that really your ring?
It seems impossible. The same fish and the same fisherman ending up in the same spot.
Oh, sailfish on log!
The boys have a good reason to not believe their eyes.
You know, the pattern is each fish probably goes to Mexico and Florida every year, and they can swim up to speeds of 70 miles an hour.
If we had been out there a day later or a day earlier, the fish could have been 20 miles north or 20 miles south of us.
Wow, you know, the odds of this is just crazy, you know. I need to buy a lottery ticket.
But with the fish on board, the boys faced a bigger problem.
We're back, guys.
I said kill the fish. I said no one's going to believe the story. Kill the fish.
No.
Eric refuses.
I just feel that that fish deserved to be back in the ocean and swimming around.
But Eric does want his ring back.
Yeah, I actually put it on my hand just so I wouldn't lose it. And I just was perplexed about the whole situation.
Back on land, the recapture of the ringfish is about to have serious consequences. Eric's wife reads about the story in a local paper.
She was not aware that I put my ring on a sailfish and let it go. It was just shared with a few close friends.
And then something remarkable happens.
My wife phoned me after she heard about the story.
Is it true?
Eric is about to get a big surprise. His ex-wife isn't angry with him.
Hearing her tell me that, hey, I think this is a sign and it's a sign for peace, I was very relieved, and I felt that my relationship with her and my kids would benefit and my life would be better.
But how could this happen? How could the ring come back to him and make such a positive change in his life? An unbelievable explanation comes to Eric's mind.
My father was a Navy fighter pilot, and his ashes were sprinkled out in the Atlantic Ocean. And my mom passed away of cancer, and we had scattered her ashes out in the Atlantic as well. Maybe my parents had something to do with sending my ring back to me.
A man puts his wedding ring on a fish. Then the same fish brings the ring back 2 years later, just in time to heal the scars of a bitter divorce. Did it really happen? You'll have to wait till the end of the show to find out. But for now, take a look at this mini-myth. Mini-myth number 213. Smells like death. One night over drinks, a friend told Gary Preston that heart attack survivors report smelling burnt toast just before collapse. Gary returned home drunk and was greeted by, you guessed it, the smell of burnt toast, despite the fact that he didn't own a toaster. In panic, Gary grabbed his chest and collapsed to the floor, only to discover his wife had bought a new toaster oven and was cooking up a sandwich. But it was too late. The fright had provoked a genuine heart attack. Was it true or false? It was false. There are many urban myths along these lines, but there's no scientific evidence connecting burnt toast and bad hearts. On Urban Legends, we show you 3 incredible stories. Your mission is to sort out the totally true from the fantastically false. So far, you've seen the tale of Susana Juarez, forced to watch as her friends were harvested for their body fat. And the story of Eric Bartos' incredible fishing fortuity, which brought him back his wedding ring. But which ones are real and which ones are fake? All will be revealed at the end of the show. In the meantime, watch our final story. We've named it Crazy Hazing. Gray Richards lives and breathes football. For the last 14 years, he's devoted himself to coaching high school football in Falls City, Oregon.
The day comes when you cannot play anymore, and you want to be involved as much as you can, and for me, coaching is the way to do it.
I gotta get more attention than that.
But no amount of success on the field can erase his memory of a tragedy that happened 21 years ago.
Every year when our team gets going in our training camp, you have visions of Ricky and the situation that Ricky went through.
In 1989, Richards was entering his senior year of college.
Getting to your fourth year and playing the game that you love and having an impact on that team, it's quite an accomplishment, I think.
From the start of the season at training camp, Richards is at the top of his game. He's not going to let anything bring him down, least of all, a lowly freshman. But hotshot Ricky Whittle is no average rookie, and he knows it. Right from the beginning, he refuses to accept his position as low man on the totem pole.
Sometimes the seniors might look at a player like this and think, well, maybe he thinks he's too good.
The seniors will soon have an opportunity to put Ricky in his place at the dreaded rookie night.
Rookie night's coming up. Whatever, man. We too good for you guys anyways.
Yeah, I mean, everybody goes through it, and well, if you're a competitive sports participant, you might have to go through something like that. It was useful as far as creating camaraderie and a bond within the team. We put together a couple of situations for them that were pretty difficult on them, and in some cases dangerous.
Rookie night is the culmination of training camp, where the seniors take the rookies out for an initiation to the team.
When we all went into the rooms of the rookie players and we blindfolded them and, for lack of a better word, kidnapped them.
Hazing is a tradition for many sports teams, meant to build camaraderie and trust among players.
And each player has a very specific responsibility. And, you know, as a player, I have to trust the player beside me.
But while the others go along for the ride, Ricky is being a poor sport.
Sometimes that'll get you, a rookie player into a difficulty, and so the seniors might point him out.
Trust-building stunts are the heart of hazing and meant to be harmless fun.
We had the players sit on a ladder, a length of toilet paper clenched between their butt cheeks, and we'd light the toilet paper on fire. The player had to hope, I guess, that the senior players wouldn't extinguish the fire before it did some damage.
But once again, Ricky is standoffish, and his attitude problem will cost him during a stunt that no one will soon forget.
We walked the players up to a flat roof,
You're not afraid of heights, are you?
which was probably 200 feet high.
The players stand on the roof, blind to what's in store.
I can't see. I don't want to do this, man.
One false move, and the rookies could plummet 60 meters.
We asked them to stand on their toes for 30 seconds and hope that they didn't fall off the roof. Ricky was very reluctant.
The seniors have a plan. They'll show Ricky who's boss.
If you looked at the box, they're not in any danger at all. And, we all thought, oh, we're really going to get him now.
Come on, now. Dip your toes. Good job.
But Ricky doesn't get up. It looks like he's pulling a prank of his own.
We waited a few seconds to see if he was actually playing a joke on us, and we were laughing and pointing at him and thinking this was, you know, fantastic.
But is it really a joke? Or has an age-old bonding tradition gone terribly wrong?
We nudged his shoulder a little bit, and he wasn't moving. But somebody tried to perform some CPR on him. That wasn't working. It wasn't until the paramedics came when we knew for sure that he was dead. He had a weak heart, which couldn't handle that sort of surprise, if you will. We thought he was playing a joke on us by not getting up, but he didn't.
A night meant to bond an all-American football team ends in tragedy during a supposedly harmless prank. So did you fall for Ricky Whittle's terrible end at the hands of the hazers? Or did we betray your trust with a tall tale? It's time to reveal the truth about our three incredible stories. First up, it's the story of Susana Juarez, who barely escaped becoming an ingredient in a high-priced beauty product. But is it fact or fiction?
Hay una cosa más sobre esta historia. It's a big, fat lie.
This popular Peruvian folktale stems all the way back to a distrust of foreigners from the time of the conquistadors. Next is the tale of Eric Bartos and a sailfish who returned his wedding ring to him. But did it happen?
My name is Eric Bartos, and this is a real fish tale.
No one believed the fisherman, but Eric showed them by passing a polygraph test in 2005. Which leaves a story of Gray Richards and a night meant to be a harmless bonding ritual between teammates, which ended in a foul. But is it true?
I'm not Gray Richards, and this story didn't happen.
This story is completely fake. It's just one of many urban legends involving the theme of college pranks gone wrong. That's the end of our episode called Stranger Than Fiction. Were you able to split the tellingly true from the fictitiously false? Don't worry if you couldn't. You'll get another chance to separate fact from fiction in the next installment of Urban Legends.